Chapter 9: The Purpose of the Federated Network. Designing communities around the principles discovered by Dunbar and Perry does not mean freezing society at a small scale. Instead, it suggests a novel approach to growth. Rather than allowing settlements to expand indefinitely, communities can replicate themselves as networks of human-scale villages. Each village remains small enough for relationships to remain personal, while the broader network provides the diversity and resilience of a larger society. Village scale preserves coherence, but isolation breeds rigidity. A single small community, left entirely unto itself, faces predictable risks. Cultural norms calcify, innovation slows, leadership roles become socially entrenched, interpersonal conflicts recycle without external corrective influence. Over time, insularity can produce intellectual drift or quiet authoritarianism. Smallness protects against anonymity, but without interconnection, it can drift toward enclosure. The stewardship economy does not scale by becoming massive. It scales by becoming cellular. Village scale does not imply isolation. A network of villages maintains small group coherence while allowing large-scale resilience. Instead of one large, fragile, intentional community attempting to produce everything internally, the distributed model is built as a federation of small villages, each contributing towards the networked community. Density is distributed rather than compressed. Migration between villages becomes possible without social annihilation. Innovation spreads horizontally instead of consolidating vertically. Village scale functions as a pressure valve. As population increases, new villages form rather than existing ones swelling beyond relational capacity. Social expansion occurs through branching, not accumulation. Growth is modular. Stability is preserved. Density is never allowed to exceed relational architecture. Population growth triggers structural subdivision rather than behavioral breakdown. A federated network of villages preserves local relational density while preventing systemic stagnation. Interdependence distributes power and resilience across nodes. If one village struggles, the network absorbs shock. If one leadership cluster fails, it does not topple the entire system. Each village remains small enough for accountability, but no village becomes epistemically sealed. Movement between villages is normalized. Exchange of goods, skills, and ideas is routine. Teachers travel, apprentices rotate, elders relocate. Young adults explore neighboring communities before choosing where to root. This mobility creates circulation. Circulation prevents mythologizing local authority. When leaders know their peers operate elsewhere under comparable standards, power stabilizes. When citizens know migration is possible without social exile, coercion weakens. When ideas are regularly cross-pollinated, dogma struggles to ossify. The network also distributes risk. In a single large centralized system, failure cascades vertically. If leadership falters, the entire structure destabilizes. If resources are mismanaged, collapse spreads rapidly. In a distributed network, stress localizes. A struggling village can be supported, recalibrated, or subdivided without threatening the integrity of the whole. Networks introduce redundancy without redundancy becoming wasteful. Networks also provide a corrective lens against stagnation of meaning. If one village overemphasizes production at the expense of care, neighboring villages feel the strain and can give feedback. If one drifts toward charisma-driven leadership, peer communities observe the pattern and intervene. Transparency between nodes creates soft accountability without centralized surveillance. Importantly, networks enable branching growth. When a network approaches relational capacity, it does not expand indefinitely. It seeds a new node. A portion of its members relocate to establish a sister network. Growth occurs through replication, not swelling. This model mirrors biological systems more than corporate ones. Cells divide when they reach functional limits. Ecosystems expand through diversification, not compression. Stability emerges from distributed nodes connected by shared principles. The term federated is central to the structure of the network and is intentionally chosen when referring to this organization. A federation is a system composed of smaller, self-governing units that are linked together by shared principles, mutual agreements, and coordinated standards, without being absorbed into a single centralized authority. In the context of the Federated Stewardship Village Network, each village operates as an autonomous unit, capable of managing its own internal affairs, culture, and daily operations. At the same time, villages are not isolated. They are connected through a larger framework that enables cooperation, resource sharing, conflict resolution, and collective learning. This balance between autonomy and interdependence is what allows the network to scale without collapsing into bureaucracy or fragmentation. Without federation, growth would either concentrate power at the center or dissolve into disconnected communities. Federation provides the structural middle path, distributed but not disjointed, unified but not centralized. Village scale prevents anonymity, where orphans disappear. Network scale prevents stagnation, where parasites sneak in. Federation ties these two structures together, solving the design failure that Universe 25 revealed: density without adaptive structure. The goal is not to build one perfect community. The goal is to build a living system capable of self-correction and replication.